Zoning Board meeting for December 2nd, 2021. I'm Jeremy Hooper, and I'll be serving as the chair tonight. I will point out that we have 8 board members present, and that serves as a quorum, and we're able to do business. And we are excited to welcome a new board member as filling an empty seat for us, Louise Mercuro. Welcome, Louise. We're excited to have her. You're
Thank
on.
you. I'm excited to be here, so
Awesome.
a lot of fun.
Tell you what, we typically introduce ourselves. You know, we always start from this side.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and introduce ourselves, starting with you, and let's take a second, if you would explain your background, and then if everybody else on the board would just state a little
Okay.
something about their background as well.
I can. Louise Mercuro. I live in the village. I have a background for more years than I want to say in city planning on different levels. So I'm really looking forward to this. I get to be on the other side of the table when I've been on, the staff for so many years. But that's it. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. We're excited to have you. Paul?
Paul Roberts, Louise, we're happy you're here as well, too. Welcome.
Thank you.
So my background, I was retired military, still work for DOD, and have done it for a long time. Thank you.
I'm Jack Farrell. I've been on the board since last January, I think, and been a resident off and on for the last 60 years, and also previously was on the Village Council and also on the Historic Preservation Commission. So welcome aboard. Your expertise will be very valuable, I think.
I've already introduced myself to you, but welcome to the board. Look forward to working with you.
Hi, Louise. I'm Jules Latham. I'm the extraterritorial jurisdiction member on the board, so I actually live in the ETJ. I'm an environmental attorney, although haven't practiced for a while. And we've lived here full-time in the ETJ since 2007.
Hey, Louise, Matt Jones. I was the new guy, and now it's you, so that's exciting. I joined in January of this year. I'm a civil engineer by background, and that's what I do during the daytime. And I am excited to have you. I also have 2 little girls that are worth mentioning. They're 4 and 18 months. And my wife is also worth mentioning too, but yeah, she's awesome.
Hey Louise, welcome. My name is David Alzamora. I am an attorney in the area. I focus on real estate and estate planning primarily. Grew up in the area, moved back here with my wife in October of 2019. We have I guess he's almost 14 months old at home, and I'm also the chair of Board of Adjustment. So thanks for joining us.
So Alex.
We've obviously, during the recruitment process, had an opportunity to sit down several times with Louise. And we are still in the process of nailing down some schedules to complete Louise's onboarding, which, as you guys know, is where we will further inundate her with information and documents, and both about the duties of Planning and Zoning Board and Board of Adjustment members, but also about the organization itself.
Welcome again. You and I got to know each other a little bit in the interview process, but again, I've been here since 2003, with the exception of a 5-year stint in Augusta, Georgia, about 20 experience in the construction industry, mostly tied around Moore County at this point in time. So it's what I do most days, certainly more on the supply side, but we're excited to have you. And I'll point out that we are missing Philip Shoemaker tonight. He has an absence with us, but we're looking forward to you meeting him. He has an exciting reason for missing, as well as he's expecting a new one, so you'll get to meet him.
Today, he's supposed to.
Today? I don't know the details, but we're thinking about him. So, of course, welcome, Alex. you know, as always, I remind everybody that we are being videotaped, so please speak directly and clearly into your microphone today, so we're able to capture that. And we don't have anybody in attendance tonight, so I don't know if I'm going to just gamble to say we won't have any public comments, but the same will go there. We're always going to follow the agenda as it's presented to us by staff tonight as well. So the first agenda item is the approval of minutes from our 11/4/21 regular meeting. Does anybody have any additions, modifications, or corrections?
Second.
Motion made by Sonia, second made by David. All in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none opposed, the minutes from the November 4, 2021 meeting are approved as written. The next agenda item is new business, and really it's a carryover new business as we want to discuss our vice chair position. And since then, we've had some discussions, and I hope maybe we're prepared to put forward a motion and any discussion involved. And can I call for a motion right now to seat a vice chairperson for our board?
I'll make a motion to seat Jack Farrell as the first vice chair for planning and zoning.
David Alzamora has made a motion to seat Jack Farrell as our first vice chairperson. Is there a second?
I'll second. I will vigorously second that motion.
Your microphone is on, Julia. Second by Jules Latham. Any discussion or any?
Congratulations, Jack. Looks like you got it.
Congratulations.
I
right?
suspect there'll be, hopefully there'll be a little chance to actually execute it, but I'd be more than happy to be your backup.
I'm sure there will be, and thank you, and I hope that's, I'm sure we'll see that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Awesome. Well, welcome, Jack, to the vice chair position. And that's the end of new business. As we move on to general business, is there anything that we need to discuss from staff?
For a point of order, it is ceremonial, but we do need to invite the village clerk, Kelly Chance, up to officially swear in Louise as both a member of Planning and Zoning Board and Board of Adjustment.
Welcome, Kelly.
Left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand, and you will repeat after me. I, Louise Mercuro,
I, Louise Mercuro,
do hereby swear
do hereby swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a member of the Board of Adjustment
as a member of the Board of Adjustment
and Planning and Zoning Board.
and Planning and Zoning Board.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Officially welcome. What other new business?
Well, I would let you guys know that, you know, it's been a little bit of a welcomed break probably for this board the past month or two, and now that we're back at full strength, and we've got some officer positions filled, so thank you, Jeremy, Jack now, and Julia is staying as the second vice chair position. I think there's going to be lots of work to do and roll our sleeves up in the coming new year, with the small area plans hopefully wrapping up and what that's going to entail in order to implement those, as well as what other fun applications we may have that come in the door at times. So there's going to be adequate opportunities for Darren and I to be in front of the board, and there will be a third public workshop for the small area plans as well that's still to be scheduled. Staff has been reviewing some of the latest drafts and providing comments to the consultants, so we're kind of stuck at that point right now. But very shortly, we feel like we'll be ready for a third public workshop, so we'll be able to see kind of what's happened since the last draft and the last workshop we had. Also, this relates directly to the moratorium on the real estate development in both focus areas. So we'll be able to have a better timeline on that and when or if that needs to be extended or can be lifted based on what we need to do as village staff and planning and zoning board in order to make some solid recommendations to village council to get those implemented. So it will take quite a bit of work, so be ready.
You know you got a lot of work ahead of you. How much time is left on the current moratorium?
Extended for 90 days a month ago, so 60?
February?
I think it's toward the middle of February, I believe.
February? And how much more extension is allowed? If
It really depends on it's kind of one of those things, like reasonable is one of the terms that are used. So if it looks like the local government is still trying to move forward, then, it is what's reasonable in the time frame with that. There's going to be public hearings that are going to be needed, and we know what those timeframes look like. With the notice of 10 to 25 days, with a recommendation by this board to another notice of 10 to 25 days to village council. So typically that's a 60-day process. It can be up to a 60-day process, I should say. Yeah, and there'll be a need for a lot of informational and work-related workshops to be conducted in order to have something ready for a public hearing, I would imagine.
Eric, do you know if the next workshop is still going to be a online Zoom-oriented, or whether they can actually have one here?
In person.
In person,
is what
okay, yeah,
we-
that'd be much preferable.
Obviously, that's the one reason why we, when negotiating the contract, we did want that. Obviously, we've learned anything the past, well over a year now, things can change quickly, but that is the direction we're headed, yes.
Great.
Anything else from anybody on the board?
Did everyone have an opportunity to sign the ethics policy acknowledgement? We handled that last month, aside from Jack, who we missed, so we got that. Louise will get yours with your onboarding, and we'll file that with the clerk. Get your microphone. It's all right.
How many people ended up doing the meeting online?
For the public workshops for the small area plan?
No, the one from Chapel Hill for the,
Oh, yeah, we just missed the deadline in getting Louise signed up. Staff, Matt, I believe you attended. Jack, you did too. We were very gracious that there was an offering for that, at an affordable price. I would love that opportunity for more. We have some on-demand library options, not the same ones necessarily that some of you have been around probably for more than 3 years have witnessed. So because there's been a couple of changes, of course, 160D being the big thing that's changed since then. So there's a couple little things that have been updated since then that we plan on getting ready to roll out and share. We have some login, obviously, credentials that the village pays an annual subscription for, which again, they kind of, Jack, Matt, either one, I would welcome any input that you guys had, or anything you'd like to share from attending that workshop. But it's kind of, way on the, 30,000 foot level maybe, and there's other opportunities, as we're getting ready to have a Board of Adjustment meeting later. You guys are fortunate enough that you get to operate in a couple of different capacities. You really get to work a little, you're not stuck in a bubble, so to speak. So it's good to sharpen your pencil on, your duties and your roles, what's proper, what's improper when considering all those requests. But obviously with new staff and then with folks who've been here a while, it never hurts to get a little continuing ed. Also, we are trying to, as at least before the end of last month, the pandemic had seemingly kind of cooled down a little bit, looking at maybe bringing some folks in from the School of Government and hosting a workshop here. So maybe something could even come to fruition with some of our other local jurisdictions where we can all kind of get it together in one and really provide a little bit better of a training than what you can maybe get from a virtual workshop where you can maybe sit shoulder to shoulder with some colleagues and have some real meaningful discussion. And you hear what challenges other communities are facing. We're all, obviously our boundaries sometimes go butt right up to one another, and we might be sharing the same concern, issue, or privileges, and it's good to talk that through and rely on other experience you have. So that is something that we're trying to keep a keen eye on and see what opportunities we can have in order to maybe invite those folks down.
Yeah, I thought it was good, and like you said, it came from broad, and it did narrow in. One of the things I appreciated particularly was, the accessibility with the School of Government staff, and they put us in breakouts, and people were asking questions during the presentation. I asked something about the short-term rentals and state regulations, and it must have been something the speaker said, because it triggered like 3 people asking the question at the same time. And they basically said that it's still TBD in the state, but it's something they're figuring out. Tell me, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree with Matt. It was a good refresher in a way, and as you went through it, you thought of questions to ask. I don't think the ability to ask the questions and get answers was in that format. The electronic format doesn't always work very well, particularly when there's a lot of people and you're kind of trying to figure out electronically where you are, what breakout room you're being sent to electronically. So I thought it was a good refresher. It prompted a lot of questions in my mind that I wrote down. I'd still like to get the answers. Maybe I use those contacts, as Matt pointed out, to actually directly get those questions answered.
Absolutely, always. I mean, that's what they're there for. We as zoning staff throughout the state use them daily, weekly. We have the listserv that staff's a part of. We'll rebounce ideas off, and a lot of times the members there at School of Government will jump in where they feel it's appropriate. Also, if there's anything you have, I know I believe, Matt, I've reached out to you at the conclusion of it, Jack, if you've got questions. Staff, we're always here. If we can tell, a lot of times you'll get certain answers, like with a topic as hot as short-term rentals right now. It's, we'll let you know when the court decides, which is happening a lot, or if there's obviously been a change in the statutes, which has happened. It does appear that the session will be ending next week. My understanding that I'm part of a biweekly update call that the North Carolina chapter, the American Planning Association Legislative Committee hosts, so that's been very helpful the past 8 months. But I understand a motion to close the legislative session has been introduced, and I'll have an update on that tomorrow. So that would conclude the long session. The short session typically convenes around early spring, I believe. So it looks like, there's no real big changes that may happen related to planning and development regulation that we need to adjust between now and that time. But that's another important topic to consider coming year. We will need to pivot potentially pending any new legislation that's adopted. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Any topics? Anything anybody wants to talk about? I'll try to make some up here. But no. Okay, well then, our next meeting date is January 6th, 2022. So this is wrapping up 2021. Thank you all, and it's a pleasure for this year and exciting. And I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving and a great holidays. So with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
By Matt Jones, second by Jack Farrell. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.